Shalom, Israel. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BASHAM, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who teach and rule well, a great millstone, and peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. I'll title this one, Teach Thy Children Diligently. Teach thy children diligently. You see? And you know, you should be, if you have children, you have kids, you know, especially they're young, you need to be, you know, teaching your children, you know, constantly talking to them and teaching them and getting on them. You know, you gotta be on your children, because this is what the Lord, you know, commands. He's not asking you, he's commanding you to teach, you know, to teach your children and to talk to them. And ultimately, the first thing should be of this word, of the Lord's word, that you need to be showing your kids, rehearsing the righteous acts. You know, because, you know, here in Babylon and even across the world, but here in Babylon, America, you know, a lot of these kids, you know, a lot of, you know, they're not being told the truth. They're not being told the truth. They're being fed lies. You know, somebody else is teaching your kid, you know, brainwashing your kid. And this is to Israel. This is to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and to you, to the Israelites, the speckled birds that look like these other nations, that are in these other nations. You know, you need to be talking and showing your kids constantly and being on them, and disciplining them, because the Lord says, roughly paraphrasing it, that spare your kid the rod, even though it won't kill him, you know. But in other words, you know, spank that butt. Spank that butt. They get out of line. There has to be you know, some type of level of responsibility that you need to be showing your children. Thus said the Lord. Because there's a lot of folly out here, and a lot of lies and trickery, you know, especially into the children. You got a lot of these Israelites children, you know, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You know, you got a lot of these Israelite children. They know all the so-called, they know all the holidays. And this is a shame, man. This is a shame. You know, a lot of these Israelite children, they know all Esau's holidays. They know all the white man's holidays. They know the so-called Christmas. They know Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving. You know, they know every single last one. The 4th of July, President's Day. They know all these holidays. And then you ask you know, and it starts with their parents. Their parents, you know, they claim that they believe in the Bible and in the Lord, but you ask them about the holy days, the Lord's holy days, and the children, they don't know none of the holy days. They don't know the Lord's holy days. But like I said, it starts with their parents. Their parents claim that they believe in the Lord and that they're a child of God, but and that you believe in the Bible, but you're not showing your kids don't know none of the holy days of the Lord that's in the Bible. You know, this is where it's at in Babylon, man. And then, you know, and then you wonder why your kids go off. But you parents, you need to be showing and talking to your children, man. Because, you know, especially as far as the time that we're going into. Call Allah Yahawah BASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah BASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. You need to be showing and talking to your children, man, because you know that, you know, I took my daughter to the park, you know, a few days ago, and just looking around, and you know, her running around the park and interacting with some of these children. Some of these children they're mean. They're mean. You know, they're mean. And, you know, this is where that wisdom, you know, you got to constantly tell your kids and show them, you know, constantly, every day. Because, you know, the time that we're going into, and how, you know, other children are, and people, how these spirits, and how people got these demons on them, and it goes on to their kids, and it spreads. And you know, you got to give your kids wisdom, not of this world, but of the Lord's word. And then after that, you know, according to some of this stuff that goes on in the world, you give that to your children. But ultimately, this word you need to be teaching your children. But let's get to the scriptures. Let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs. I don't want to make this too long. This is just a little quick hit through the power and the spirit of YAHAWAHSHI. Proverbs 22. Proverbs 22 and 6, and it reads, train up a child in the way he should go. See? Train up your child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. You see, you got to train your child up, man. You have a lot of you Israelites, you're training your children up to be football players. You're training your children up to be basketball players and cheerleaders, and, doctors and lawyers, and it's okay to be, to have knowledge of, to have, as far as being a doctor, or knowing Esau's laws. It's okay. But to train, just to totally throw out the Lord's commandments and his laws, statutes, and commandments, and just completely focus on, that other stuff, you're going off. The Israelites, you don't need to be training your children up to be no football players, no basketball players, none of that sports entertainment, none of that. You need to be teaching your children his word. And it's okay to know how to learn about the body, and the Lord teach you all that in here. But to totally go into Esau's ways, this is what a lot of you Israelites do. You totally disregard what the Lord is saying. But a lot of you training your children up to be in the world. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. See? See? Let me go to Deuteronomy. Let me go to Deuteronomy. What is that? You should be training your children up, to go in the ways of the Lord. But a lot of you train your children up to be in the world, and then you wonder why tragedy happens, man. Let's go to Deuteronomy. What is that? Salakia. Deuteronomy 5:29, and it reads. Deuteronomy 5:29, and it reads. Oh, that there were such in heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. See? Keeping the Lord's commandments, man. We're in the land of our captivity. You can't keep all the laws, statutes, and commandments perfectly in the land of your captivity, in the land of your enemies. You can't. But you can rehearse. You can practice them. Because when we get into the kingdom, we're gonna be able to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to 1,000%. We'll never go off. Never. But we're in the land of our captivity. We're supposed to be rehearsing our the Lord's righteous acts, and that it sits well with you and your children. Because a lot of Israel in this tribulation that's coming, them and their children are going to be put to death because they just totally despise this word. They're doing into Halloween and Christmas and Easter hunts, the Bugs Bunny, Valentine's Day, all these days, and you try to tell them about some of these children, about these law, statutes, these Israelite kids. They don't want to hear it. They turn their face at this. They told, what is that? I don't like that stuff. You see? So, and then you wonder why a lot of tragedy happens because, the parents aren't showing their kids and letting their kids do whatever they want and get into anything they want to. Spoiling your kids. That's spoiling your kids. You're poisoning them, man. You are poisoning them. See? Let's go. Let's hop over. I'll close out with this. It says, we'll hop over. We'll go Deuteronomy. We'll stay in Deuteronomy 6 and 7. I'll close out with this. And it reads, Deuteronomy 6 and 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. See? And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. See, the Lord said you need to talk to your children when you're out and about at the store, or outside, or when you're in the house. You need to be talking to them. Before they go to sleep, you need to be talking to them about this word. You need to be constantly talking to them. That's why he says, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. When you're in the house, you're supposed to be talking to your children. Things come on TV, you need to be talking to them and telling them and drilling them. It says, and when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when you out at the store or going to run an errand or in the car, you need to be telling your children, talking to them, pointing out stuff to them. You know, and going back to the scriptures to it. It says, and when thou liest down and when thou risest up. So when now, you know, when they go, before they go to sleep, when they wake up in the morning, you're constantly telling them about the Lord. You know, constantly. You know, I watch the news, and you know, I take my daughter to school in the morning, and she get up in the morning and something come on. I point that out to her, and I revert right back to the scriptures, constantly telling her on the way to school, constantly, you know, on her and telling her about the scriptures. You know, constantly. This is what the Lord this is what He commands, man. But you know, there's going to be a lot of Israelite children that are going, you know, that the Lord is going to have to, He's going to have to put down, man, because they're too far gone, and right along with their parents, they're too far gone into Babylon. They don't want to have nothing to do with this word. But you got to talk to your children, man. You got to talk to your children, because we're the time that we're coming into. It's just the no mercy. And I tell my daughters, there's a time that you might be on your own. How in this Jacob's trouble, on how it is set up, you might be on your own. You might be out. You're gonna have to know some things, man. Ultimately, the Lord teach her the name, the Father and the Son, and different little stories, that's in the book, as far as, you gotta talk to your children and show them. And if people understood this, a lot things, as far as teaching your children about the Lord, spirituality, things would be, as far as amongst the children, be a little bit better. But, you got to talk to your children, man. The Lord said, teach them diligently unto thy children. But I just wanted to touch in on that. Just a quick hit through the power and the spirit of YAHAWAHSHI. Hopefully you're edified. I don't want Ratazah come back with another lesson, but I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BASHAM, Rakah, Quadash. Shalom, Israel.